So the NBA, Blake Griffin, forward currently for the Detroit Pistons, but him and the Pistons are working on a trade or a buyout. Now Blake Griffin's turning 32 years old next year. Not next year, but next month. He's had several injuries on his knees, several surgeries. We know him from being a high flyer, yamming it to the rim, and then he developed his game to having a little jump shot and a little bit of a three-pointer. He can add something to a team, to the right team, but he's got to get either traded to the right team or bought out so he can go sign with the right team.
Well, I agree. Like, the ideal situation for him would be to get bought out. That way he'd be able to make the choice where he gets to go, where he wants to go. No telling where that would be if that is the situation. But right now, he is not playing. They have benched him until they can figure out what the plan is going to be. Like I said, for him, ideally, a buyout would be the best option. That way, like I said, he would have control over where he gets to go. At this point, probably he'll obviously want to try to join the contender, so he can try to win a title.
Speaking of being like the buyout and contenders, like I said, the best thing for him is being bought out because his contract is very unattractive. Right now he's owed $36.6 million to be paid this season, and then $39 million with a player option of next season.
Yeah, no one's gonna take on that contract, especially knowing that the other option is a buyout. No team is gonna take on that contract,
and
it's tough.
It's been reported that if and probably when the buyout does come, so there's 3 projected teams that are probably going to be either high on his list to join or be trying to contact him for his services. That's the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, and those Lakers out in Los Angeles.
The Los Angeles situation, I should say. I'm not sure what his terms that he left the Clippers on. I don't think he would join.
Lakers.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if he played for the Clippers, like if he were going to go back to somewhere, he would I would wonder if he would be for the Clippers or if he was particularly tied to. I think when he was playing for the Clippers, I think it was Doc Rivers that was the coach for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's tied to the coach. I don't know if he's tied to the organization, but it's neither here nor there. The 3 teams that you mentioned have an interest in him. Heat and the Celtics out of the East. Still, you got to go through the Nets. If he's just pure ring chasing, and I think the best option. I know the Lakers have pretty good squad put together right now, and they were able to add him. That'd be a great piece for when AD comes back into the fold, which we'll get into that later. But if he's able to join the Lakers and probably get what he feels like is one more step closer to the ring, then happy for him, good for him. But still have to play the game. That doesn't, just because he joins them doesn't mean that'll put them over the top. There would be even more heavily considered favorites to win the title. But again, we'll get into the AD situation later. That is currently a potential iceberg slat in the path to another title.
All 3 teams are definitely title contenders. Me being a huge LeBron fan, that'd be great if he went out to the Lakers and joined with them. But me also being a Miami Heat fan, I would love for him to join them because, the Miami Heat were just in the finals and lost. So it's not like they're a slouch team. And it's a very Pat Riley-like move to go and get Blake Griffin. The Celtics, it's a young team. Brad Stevens keeps them coached up well and playing and balling out. It's a young team that could use his veteran-like services. Rotated out on the right team, he could he'll make some product. He'll make some good product for the right team. Like the interesting stats I came across, looking up this whole Blake Griffin fiasco. In in his first 4 seasons. We were talking about he's a high flyer and everything. He used to dunk and whatnot back in the day, in his heyday. In his first 4 seasons, he had 784 dunks. And get this stat, him about to turn 32 next month, he has 0 dunks this season in 20 games played.
Wow.
He's averaging this season 12.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, shooting 31.5% from 3-point, averaging 3.9 assists, and shooting 36.5% from the field in general. Defensively, his opponents are converting on 70.7% of their shots at the rim. He only has 2 blocks this season.
It's definitely a down year for him.
Yeah, he's a defensive liability. But I mean, like I said, rotate it out on the right team, giving him some time to rest and stuff. You'll get the best quality of him.
Right, he can give you some valuable minutes.
Yeah.
He at very least he's 6 fouls to give.
Yeah, and at least 5 rebounds, 3 assists maybe. Because he learned to pass the ball quite nicely and stuff. So
be interesting to see where he on a buyout. Be interesting to see where he chooses to go.
Yeah. Now on to Mr. AD, as we were speaking of, out in LA, Anthony Davis. Currently, right now, the Lakers in general are sitting in second place in the West at 21-7. But on Monday, it was reported Anthony Davis underwent an MRI on his right Achilles tendon. Luckily, the results came back, said it was no rupture. They said right now he's at a minimum to miss 2 to 3 weeks. The All-Star game's coming up March 7th. You definitely, the smartest thing to do is hold him out. I'd honestly hold him out a month, maybe at least 3 weeks at the minimum.
Yeah, you wanted to be extra careful with this. Talking about an Achilles injury, I mean, anybody knows an Achilles injury will shut everything down. You are just completely out of it, like with an Achilles injury. Like it's just no getting around that. Like, and something with this for him, like I would definitely err on the side of caution and always be on the safe side. Like for him, as much as he does for the team and for the game, like you don't want obviously you don't want a player that caliber for your team to miss any time, but definitely don't want to miss any time at a crucial point in the season, playoffs.
Yeah, the Lakers need to give LeBron as much rest as possible. The rest of the team needs to step up. Like I said, right now they're currently sitting second, 21-7. So let's edge this out, try to get number 1 or whatever, or at least the bet. To keep second or get number 1 in the West, and let's get to these playoffs and have AD back healthy. So we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of days. Well, the next couple of weeks, since he's going to be sitting out, which he needs it. Let's take a trip out east, up north in the East, Brooklyn. Talking about KD injury update.
He too is out. Yeah, he just saw that report. He too is out for lesser injury, but no, it's not any lesser as far as the significance of the injury. But obviously, if you're going to have. If you're going to choose between 2 injuries, I'd definitely go with the hamstring one over the Achilles one. But both of them are equally significant. You definitely don't want to lose any player for any kind of injury. But KD is currently sitting out 2 games for a hamstring.
2 games. The February 15th game at Sacramento, and then the February 16th game at Phoenix.
And hamstring injuries can linger. I mean, especially given that sport. I mean, they linger as is for wide receivers in NFL, and they do constant running up and down. Constant running up and down the field. And what do basketball players do? Constant running up and down the court. So, like, hamstring issues can linger, depending on the severity of them. They'll linger more, but he too will miss time, and just have to. They'll be fine. I mean, Lakers will be fine. Lakers are built to at least withstand a loss like this, hopefully. And as is the Nets, they too. I mean, when you have three all-star players like that, if you lose one, you're somewhat still. You should still be built to be able to at least stay afloat. And same thing for the Lakers. Lakers are built overall team as a whole. They've got talent, from the top to the bottom. Schroeder, Gasol, Harris, wasn't it Harris? From the Clippers, I'm thinking the guy from the Clippers. Kuzma, Braun. Like I said, both of these are significant injuries. You don't want to lose any player to injury, but they happen, and they're in that boat. Like I say, the team should be built to at least be fine or at least maintain while they're out.
Yeah, and the Nets are currently sitting in third place in the East, 17-12. And you talk about them having the big three and hopefully being able to withstand like a loss or two or something like that, or being able to bounce back because you built your roster to withstand that and bringing championships. But since getting James Harden, the Nets are 3-0 against teams that are 500 or better, and 4-3 against teams that are less than 500. So that's how Kyrie, Harden, and KD are working out in Brooklyn. But a mild hamstring injury. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out for KD over the next week. Because today's, like I said, is the 15th. I'm sorry, today's the 16th, so he's already set out those two games. When if he'll return at the next game, I would probably sit him out. I'd probably sit him out maybe about 2 more games just to really let him heal up and get back in the mojo of things, but I'd sit him out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you want to err on the side of caution. Definitely want a player of his caliber back in the fold as soon as possible to help the team push forward and try to achieve the ultimate goal of winning a championship. You're definitely going to need him to do that.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the NFL right after this. All right, and let's talk some football. We're going to be talking about J.J. Watt and situation, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming draft and the top draft pick, projected top draft pick, Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. But first, we're going to kick off by talking about the unfortunate passing of former NFL wide receiver Vincent Jackson. He played with the Chargers and played with the Bucs over his career. He was found dead in a hotel room. No other reports as far as any, faulty activity or anything like that. Autopsy is being done. He was only 38 years old.
Man,
it's fairly young. I mean,
it's an eye opener there. Like you said, the details haven't yet come out as to what happened. The initial reports they didn't appear to be any foul play or anything like that. So, like I said, when the details come out, we'll try and pass those along. But to be 38 years old and shoot, I'm 38. I mean, to be 38 years old and unsudden passing like that, like definitely raise your eyebrows and get your attention. But condolences to him and for his family. Um, Prayers are with his family. It's never a good time for anything like that. It's just sad. Like I say, prayers out to his family, and hopefully they can get through this situation.
He had a 12-year career, 7 seasons with the Chargers, 5 years at Tampa Bay. His career stats: 155 games. He started 137 of them. He was targeted 1,035 times over his career. Ended it with 540 receptions, 9,080 yards, average 16.8 yards a reception, 57 touchdowns. He was about, if I'm not mistaken, he had to be about 6'5", 6'6", good 230. Physically is what you wanted in a wide receiver. I remember back in the day playing Madden, like I would always try to trade for him when I was building my franchise and my team and stuff, because he was just that good of a player that you'd want on your team, a big, fast, strong wide receiver. So, like B said, condolences to his family. Now we talked about that, let's talk about something that's a little bit more uplifting and a bit exciting and very intriguing. I should say former Houston Texan defensive end J.J. Watt is now a free agent. He and the Texans came to an agreement about his release. So now he is free to sign with anybody he wants. This is very exciting from a football standpoint and a fantasy football standpoint. It's been reported that he's seriously considering signing with the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, because he sees them as a Super Bowl contender and their salary cap is good to where he could get paid what he's wanting. Cleveland Browns just shocked the world by making the playoffs and winning a wild card game against a division rival, Pittsburgh Steelers. So they went in and gave Kansas City a run for their money. So they are not far behind, and adding a big, strong defensive end, smart defensive end like J.J. Watt, it could send them right over the edge.
Yeah, you're talking about pairing him with Myles Garrett on the other side, which would be a terror for any offensive unit. Those two tackles, the two tackles, left and right tackles on the offensive line, will definitely have their work cut out for both of them if he were to land with the Cleveland Browns. Like I said, one side you got Watt, the other side you got Myles Garrett. That's, like I said, those two guys they'll definitely have their work cut out for them. I personally don't see him joining Cleveland. I think he'd wants more of a I don't want to call it a safe bet, but I think
Cleveland might be a safe bet.
Don't get me wrong. They're great, but of all the playoff teams this year, like surely they weren't the best option to join. Like if you're gonna join a team, obviously the top 3 teams you probably would join would be obviously the 2 that were just in the Super Bowl, those 2, and perhaps I don't know, one with another elite quarterback on it.
Also got to worry about cap space on the team.
Yeah, that's cap space, and he can depending on I don't know what he's looking to get paid, but like the veteran minimum,
he's not taking a veteran minimum.
Okay, that's true. That may be true, but there's a lot of options he could have as far as being a free agent, and he could go play with his brother. Over in Pittsburgh, like that would put him close to. That would definitely put him on a contender team. You get to play with your brother.
Speaking of that, yeah, like you said, playing with his brothers. He hasn't made his decision yet. I mean, he sees Cleveland as a Super Bowl contender, but Steelers are still high on his list because, like you said, he's got two brothers who played on the Steelers already. But like I said, the salary cap, the Steelers are over the salary cap by $30 million.
Oh,
so the likelihood of them getting him, they're gonna have to move some stuff around to sign him. And the Browns are projected to have more than $20 million in cap space. So, like I said, he clearly views Cleveland as a Super Bowl contender, and they have the money to pay him. So it could be very likely that happens.
I don't see him. I personally don't see him going there, man. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't know.
What about Buffalo? Because I honestly thought Buffalo was going to be probably the top ranking on his choice. I don't know what their cap space is like, but I mean, they were just in the AFC Championship game.
If you're in control of your own destiny as far as where to go play, depending on your style, depending on how you are, you're an older player now. You have the choice to go play where at least 8 of your games are going to be inside. Like, there's a lot of things that I would consider.
Stephon Diggs is highly recruiting them. I mean, look what the Bills did in his first season there. So, I mean, you had one more player, and they did that. They did what they did last year with Stephon Diggs in his first year going to the AFC Championship. You had J.J. Watt to that.
Saw a picture of this, DeAndre Hopkins did a shout out. Let's finish what we started.
Out in Arizona.
Him in Arizona, there you go. There's
indoor games.
Inside.
At least 8 right
elite
there.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, your division is already going to be tough with the Rams and the Seahawks.
And the Niners.
And the Niners, you're right. That division probably going to send minimum of 2, maybe 3 teams. But again, he controls his own destiny. Ultimately, like you said, the Steelers couldn't, financial wise, cap space wise, I don't think they'll be an option, a true legitimate option. So, I mean, I think if you come down to it, it's either going to be, man.
It'll be an AFC team, I'll say that.
Yeah,
I think it'll be an AFC team, for sure. In this whole situation, I can't help but put my general manager hat on, and it's like, if I'm the Texans, I don't let him walk away and we get nothing. I would have been like, tell me who you want to play for, and we're going to talk to them about trading you there. So that way I can get something for you. Some draft picks, maybe some players, something. But I can't let you just walk away. A player of his caliber, you would have gotten some draft picks.
You let JJ walk away.
What do you mean let JJ walk away?
Could have traded JJ. Could have got something back for him.
Who, the Texans?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you let him walk away, but you want to get something from me. Like, I'm speaking in terms of Deshaun.
Oh.
Why they not trade?
Yeah.
Like, they could have did the same thing with JJ. We wanna get something for you. Help us help you. Like, tell us where you would like to go, and maybe we'll do our best to try to work with you and get you there. But I mean, I understand, Jay. I'm not comparing their career by any means. Am I comparing their career? Because Watt obviously has played. How many seasons has he played? He's been in the game longer. He's done more for the organization in his time and the city. Like, he did that huge that hurricane. Was it a hurricane relief he did?
Yeah.
He did. Like, he's done a lot for the city, and I could see them, being, go. We're gonna give you the best opportunity we can to get you to, without trading you, to let you do your own thing by releasing you, so now you can choose where you want to go. He's done a lot for the city and for the organization, but at the same time, a player of his caliber would have at least gotten you, at least minimum. You would think at least a 5th-round pick.
Jeez, you really thinking that low?
A lot of teams. I mean, a lot. He's 32 years old, killer contract. If somebody really wanted him, I mean, I've seen worse deals.
I was thinking a third and a fourth, maybe.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, shoot high, but I'm just talking about minimum wise, like very minimum wise on draft night. Like, oh, yeah, that is pretty low. Like, you imagine like going into day 3, that would be extremely low to have him traded on day 3 of the draft.
Yeah, somebody just gave up a lot or something significant of the next upcoming draft to have done that, waiting to day 3.
Either way, like I said, he's in control of his own destiny. He'll be deciding. If it were me, I'd sit back and wait. Like, I'm gonna wait and see if he wanted to make sure, where, his choice of where the elite quarterbacks are. I'd definitely try to hold out and wait and see where Deshaun went. Like, if he truly was high on him and thought the word thought highly of him, I'd definitely wait and see where he landed because, as this is me, the home team talking. But if we were some way somehow to land Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, and like with the Carolina Panthers, I think he'd be the perfect mixture of veteran experience along with that youth defense because we went all defense last year, so the entire defense is young. There'll be a second year in, getting better. They started coming on pretty strong at the end of their first year, but if you get those guys that I'm just like I said again, this is fantasy talking here. If the Panthers were somehow to acquire Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt has not yet signed, and then he sees that we got Watson, McCaffrey, Anderson, Moore. I doubt we'll be able to keep Curtis Samuel, but that's fine. Defense was coming along better, and like I said, being able to choose your destiny, being able to choose where you go is the most ideal situation. Luckily for him, he gets to have that decision going into what will probably look like to be his last big time contract. They'll probably get him on a 3-year deal, maybe 2-year, something friendly. But to be able to choose where you go this late in your career is definitely a bonus to have.
Yeah, and just like we mentioned earlier, him possibly going to Pittsburgh and playing with his brothers. Like it's not a lot of players in the league that have siblings as along with them playing in the league. There's a few that come to mind. The Griffin boys. The Edwards brothers. I'm sorry, and the Griffin brothers as well. Yeah, up in Seattle, and then the Edwards, one's in Buffalo, one's in Pittsburgh, and then you got the Watts, 2 in Pittsburgh, and JJ now a free agent. Then you got the Bosa brothers, DN for the Niners, and I think he's still with the Chargers. If you had to pick your litter of brothers, because it seems like all of them are defense, except for the Watts. They got one who's on offense. But if you could have your pick of those 4, the Watts, the Griffins, the Bosas, or the Edwards, who you looking to build your defense with?
Gotta have a pass rush, man. Gotta have a pass rush. I think I'd probably end up going with.
Now, let's reiterate for our listeners: the Bosa brothers, both of them play defensive end. The Edmonds brothers, I think they're both safeties, or one's a safety and one's a linebacker. The Griffin brothers, they're both linebacker/DN, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Watts, you have a linebacker/DN, a DN, and a fullback. So, who you building your defense with?
I don't think I'm still leaning towards the Watts. Man, I like the pass rush. How many times have you ever seen highlights of Watt playing? Get ready rushing up the field on defensive end and seeing that he can't get to the quarterback, does the next best thing, gets in a defensive stand, jumps up and intercepts a pass. How many times have you seen him do that? Not saying like he's done. He's done it enough, plenty for a defensive end, but he just has that instinct of when to do that. And his brother is playing lights out with Pittsburgh. I think I'm gonna go with the Watt boys.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I keep thinking about those Bosa brothers, 2 D ends. I mean, like you said, 2 good D ends is gonna give offensive tackles a lot of havoc and problems, and have that quarterback either stepping up in that pocket, making the wrong decisions, or he's gonna be running for his life outside the pocket. Then you got the Edmonds brothers. It's always nice to have somebody on the linebacker level and the safety level who can read everything. They're seeing everything, like what's behind the linebackers, and what's behind the defensive line. Man, I'll probably have to say I'm gonna go with the Bosa brothers, just to make things interesting. Because I would say the Watts, simply because there's 3 of them, and I'm always a fan of a good fullback for a running game. But I'm gonna go against that. Since you said the Watts, I'm gonna have to go Bosa's, just to make things interesting.
Well, fortunately, not really a wrong answer in this argument here. It's
not at all.
Like I say, you'll have the Bosa's and I'll have the Watts. And like I say, no wrong answer. I think it's great that like I said, I think it's great for him that he gets to choose where he wants to go. Maybe perhaps if Pittsburgh can align the stars properly, maybe he finishes out his career playing alongside his brother. At very least, he'll be putting himself in the best position to try to get a title.
All right, let's look into the future. This upcoming NFL draft. I'm pretty sure you heard of the Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Some people have called him Trevor Lawrence. Some people have called him Sunshine. They call him Sunshine based off his long hair, and it kind of reminds you of the character Sunshine from the movie Remember the Titans. But he's projected to be the number 1 overall pick. He moved his pro day up a month before Clemson's pro day. The pro day is where NFL teams get to come and watch you run certain drills and run you through certain situations to see how you react and do and perform. He had his up a month before Clemson's because he's had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder, the labrum. He's already had his surgery. Doctors say it went very well. He should be 100% before training camp. Recovery time is about 5 or 6 months. I don't think this is going to hurt his draft stock at all, especially with him moving his pro day up. And his pro day was this past Friday, and I've watched highlights from it and some of it on the internet, and he looks good. He looks good. He's a good, about 6'5", maybe about 220. He's got a nice strong arm. He's gonna every rookie quarterback is gonna have some stuff to learn as far as once it comes to the NFL. It's a whole new level, whole new game, but it's still football nonetheless. But he looked good. Urban Meyer was there himself on the field. Like the rest of the other teams were on the sideline watching. Urban Meyer, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft, he was right there on the field watching his every movement, how his body looked and everything as far as the motions and stuff. Jaguars could potentially draft him number 1 overall. We're looking to see how that plays out. I like him as far as a quarterback. I like what he has. He's been reported from one report. I cannot remember his name. I hate that, but they said that they rank him coming out of college into the NFL as high as they ranked Andrew Luck back in the day.
Yeah.
And he said Andrew Luck barely edges him out as far as tangibles and whatnot. So that's high praise as far as what they are projecting he could be and what he is coming out of college.
Tell you what, man, he's like I said, it's very, very fortunate that it's not his throwing shoulder that he's having this procedure on. So he should, in my opinion, he should be fine. Gets past this and gets that non-throwing shoulder more. Get it some more strength, some more rest, and like I said, not trying to play scared or anything, but definitely protect the rest of your body out there in the football field.
Yeah, and he'll do the right thing because he personally made the choice of moving his pro day up. So I think that he did that by doing it before his surgery. So that was smart. He didn't hurt his draft stock by not being like, I'm not going to have a pro day at all. What you saw in game is what you get. So he did the right thing by moving his pro day up and having the surgery afterwards. And, the surgery went well. He just has to go through the recovery, 5 to 6 months. He should be good before training camp or just a couple weeks into training camp. But he's definitely projected to be the future of the NFL. He's a straight up baller. I'm blessed to watch the games that he's gonna play, and I know they're gonna be interesting. The NFL's gonna be very interesting over the next couple of years as far as the talent that's coming in.
Yeah, quarterback position is definitely changing over the last few years. More mobile quarterbacks are coming into the league, game ready too. They're like teams are now putting especially the ones obviously in the first round, they are throwing them out there off gate the learning curve is not what it used to be for a young and up and coming player, but hey, the guys are coming in more ready and ready to play. So what can you do? Go ahead and put them out there. Let's see what they got. They got to get there. They got to learn some way. They got to get their experience one way or another. Ideally, for the most part, you might can get yourself in a situation like Aaron Rodgers, where he gets to sit behind somebody for however how many years it was before they traded him out, got him out of there.
Well, yeah, that's for most quarterbacks. I would have to say in every draft, at least the top 2 quarterbacks taken in that draft, they won't get that time. They're going to get thrown into the fire pretty early because they were the top 2 best quarterbacks in the draft, so that's why they were taken there. And we're just going to get you in there because we feel you're game ready. But any quarterback taken 3rd and on forward, you're probably going to sit behind some veteran quarterback for a couple of games, maybe even a couple seasons until you get your feet wet. But that was our NFL talk for this episode. We're looking forward to the things to come as far as sports reports, being able to report to you guys and give it our opinion and give y'all a chance to talk to us by hitting us up at gmail.com, the J1S Boys at gmail.com. You can email us. Look us up on Facebook, the J1S Boys. You can get at us on Twitter at the J1S. Give us your comments, topics that you may want to hear us talk about, sports related, non-sports related. Let us know how you're feeling about the podcast. We're looking forward to hearing what y'all got to say. We're going to respond back via podcast and via message, and we're just going to enjoy this ride together and see what comes of it. So this is the J1S Boys signing off from another episode. It's your man, D. Jones, a.k.a. Clark Wayne.
And I'm your boy, Captain Elite, a.k.a. The Elite.
Y'all stay safe and be happy. We out.
Peace.